What's going on, guys? The Barber Phil here, back again with another haircut tutorial. Today, guys, we have a simple kid's haircut. We're going to fade the sides down, hard part on the side, comb it over, take the front back a little bit. Let's get right to it. So I'm starting things off by saturating the hair and really focusing in the crown area, making sure that I have it combed in the correct direction that it grows. And then I am finding his natural part, parting it there, and then combing it over, pulling the front back a little bit, because that's how we're going to eventually style it. So I kind of want it set up in that direction. Once I've found his natural part, I like to use my gold Babyliss FX trimmers, and I will hold the hair tight, and I will tap the top part of the hard part line, and then I'll hold the hair tight up top, and I will tap down against the bottom part of that hard part line. That way I get the cleanest hard part that I can, and it gives off a very sharp appearance for, you know, this style haircut. So with the hard part cleaned up, it looks nice. Let's get straight into this fade. We're going to use the Wall Premium 1.5 guard. I'm making about at least a 1-inch section here, maybe an 1.5 inches. Right through the middle of the haircut, we're going to drop it down in the back, making sure that we leave weight in the perimeter and in his crown area. If you take a guard too high in the crown area, a week later when that hair starts to grow back out, it's going to stick out like a porcupine. That's the last thing we want to do. Make sure you scoop out at the top so you're not leaving harsh lines in the fade that require more work later. And then we're going to come in behind that with a 2 guard and start working on that weight. So here is the 2 guard. I've got the lever wide open. We're basically scooping through the 1.5, making sure that we flick out at the top. This is just softening the blend a little bit. We're going to come in right behind this with some clipper over comb. That's going to help us leave the weight that we want to leave, but it's also going to blend the 1.5 up into that weight a little bit better. When doing the clipper over comb technique, I like to use the bigger flat top combs like this. I'll hold the bottom of the comb flush to the head, and then I'll angle the top part that's really holding the hair, the teeth of it. I'll angle that out away from the head. That's going to over direct it so that you're not running that blade flush against the head, because it's going to cut it a lot shorter than you anticipated if you do it like that. A quick tip is when you run the blade from right to left like this, you're removing bulk. When you flip it around and you take your blade from like bottom to top and you're scooping up through there, that's going to help you blend it. So just remember those two things. Side to side, you're removing bulk. When you're doing it from top to bottom like I am right here, it's allowing you to kind of pinpoint and blend some of those spots that you want to blend out better. So if you can remember, we started this fade off with the 1.5 with the Wall Premiums right there in the middle. We did about a 1.5 inch section all the way around. What I'm doing here is I switched over to my Cordless Senior modified with the Andis Master blade, and it's my experience that the purple guards cut a little bit cleaner because the teeth are closer together. So I use the 2 guard above that 1.5 open, and that's connecting up into that weight and blending it out pretty nicely. Now I've got the open 1 guard with the purple set, and I'm hitting just below that original 1.5. That's going to allow me to use the 0 guard and a no guard, and this taper below this is going to really, you know, come all the way together. So as the old expression goes, I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. I'm going to continue the fade, but also remove this bulk. So I have a 0 guard. I have it closed as I go through the bulk, and then as soon as I get through it, I'm opening it up. That's going to connect to the 1 guard we just did. But at the bottom there where we had it closed, the next step will be to taper out the temple and the neck area, and an open clipper and closing it up there to do the taper should all meet together. So I know the misconception when doing kids cuts is that they are not fun. Kids are all over the place. They move like crazy. But as that is true in some cases, there are cases where kids do sit still. And if you can lock in a kid's cut at a young age, you've got a customer potentially for life. that person can continue to come back to you for years to come. So keep that in mind, guys. Yes, not all kids cuts are fun to do, but if you can get those kids that do sit still and allow you to do a clean haircut, keep them. So with that being said, I got into this taper. We did a no guard close at the bottom, cleaned up that baby hair, opened it up, it blended right up into the zero close that we just did. Now we're going to do the lineup around his ear, keeping it natural up the hairline. We're doing the right side of his head here, so we're using the left side of our blade to do the semicircle around his ear. So to do the right C cup here, we're going to use the left side of our blade, just using the last, third or so of the blade, making that half circle motion. And then on this side, we're gonna box it up just a little bit. I'm not gonna make this too crispy. I'm not gonna do a full hairline across the front. We're just boxing this up a little bit. It's gonna give it a good shape. Removing some of the peach fuzz off his forehead there, and then we'll do the left C cup using the right side of our blade. So now we're going to go ahead and clean up his vertical and his semicircle around his left ear here. And then you'll see me scoop the hair out right here above the ear. That's a spot that a lot of barbers, for some reason, funny enough, seem to miss. Most of them probably in too big of a hurry, not paying attention to detail work. Make sure you fold the top of the ear down and you really clean that hair out. A week after a haircut, if that hair is missed, it will definitely be noticeable. So typically, unless requested, I don't block off sideburns. So all I did here was I removed the guard, closed the lever all the way up, hit the bottom line, opened it up. That blended right into the previous section we did. And then I'm going to come in with my 40T blending shears, and I'm going to run the comb straight and up off the head here, just clipping the ends. This is going to allow for a softer look. It's going to lay down a little bit nicer. And then it also may remove some of the, choppiness or leftover weight from the clipper over comb we did earlier. This is a perfect example of where the 40Ts really come in handy. It's where the weight from the top is meeting the fade that you did on the side. I'm lifting the hair, over directing it away from the head, hitting it with the blending shears, and then combing it back down into place so that I can see how well that's laying. Now I'm going to saturate the top, and we're going to start taking the top down to the desired length. So I like to start the top by resaturating the hair, combing it back into place, especially in the crown area, so that I can see exactly how everything's going to lay whenever it's fixed. I work from front to back, starting with the bangs, and then I work in 3/4 of an inch to an inch section from front to back, using the previous section that I just cut as a guide for the next. So I hold the hair between my middle finger and my pointer finger, and you can notice that I'm bracing my pinky and my ring finger to the top of the head. That's kind of my way of gauging how far away from the head that I have the hair pulled up. That allows me to, as accurately as I can, cut the hair at the same length. And now what I'm doing is I'm working more in the middle, and you can see that I'm holding my fingers flat, flush to the head, at the correct height that I want, and I'm using the guide from my previous section as a guide for the section I'm currently on. Now what we're doing is the side that overhangs, and we're over directing that and kind of pulling it back towards us a little bit. That's going to allow, once we fix his hair, it's not going to be too weighted on this side over here. So I'm going to cross check his bangs one more time, and then if you need to cross check the top itself altogether, I like to work from corner to corner and make sure that the top is as even as it can be. So just pick out your pomade of choice, apply it evenly through the hair, make sure you get it on that weight area beside the hard part, apply it to the front and the bangs especially, comb it evenly throughout, pull those bangs back from the hard part corner over to the opposite corner. That's going to give that front an up and over appearance. And that's the final product, guys. It's a simple kid's haircut. I hope you took something away from this. As always, like it if you like it, dislike it if you didn't. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I appreciate all the love and support for the channel, guys. Until next time, later.